Oh, we did it! We did it! We did it! Oh, my God.
So, what's your opinion on AI?
In the future, we're gonna have to merge with our tech in order to survive.
It's so much easier to find recipes.
Welcome to Heads Up with your hosts, Varsha Ganesh
and Julia Yee. We're here to look into artificial intelligence, a concept that has increasingly crept into our lives.
How is AI altering our education, and how serious are the consequences? Will the future of learning, working, and living change forever? On November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT was released by OpenAI. The AI chatbot was estimated to have reached 100 million monthly active users in 1 month, just 2 months after launch, making it the fastest growing consumer application in history.
ChatGPT and other generative AI chatbots are still one of the most discussed and feared technologies to this day. On top of text-based models, image generation models like DALL-E can create visual artwork and images with nothing but a few words, making it no surprise that people are starting to worry about the future of their own jobs.
Let's talk about something that hits closer to home, education. Since its release, it was immediately clear that ChatGPT could be used to answer questions, do math, and even write essays, making it ideal for students to use for school assignments and projects.
If you can utilize it to its full potential, you can help, but also in the wrong use, it could cause more problems than solve them.
I don't know, maybe I sense that my teacher's a little bit more paranoid.
I'm Dina Zlatzever. I'm a English teacher with FUHSD, and I teach here in the middle college program.
And I would say, within our district, there's definitely different camps, and there are teachers who are very much kind of like I said before, we need to embrace this, we need to figure out how to use this, we need to figure out how to teach students how to use this responsibly.
Sean Morrison, teacher in the middle college program. So I think the biggest change we've seen with AI is students using it for inappropriate purposes. And I would say before AI, when it came to issues of plagiarism, things were a little more clear-cut. You had sites, right, with text that could be lined up to text that was submitted by students. And with AI, things are a little more gray. There isn't quite the clear-cut examples of plagiarism. There is, it's more about likelihood as opposed to some more definitive examples.
Yeah, I would second everything that Sean said. I just see more of this maybe attitude from students that work should be able to be done expeditiously, that when things are challenging or rigorous, there's more of a desire to bypass that rigor, and I think AI makes that more readily possible for students.
Dina and Sean brought up an important point. There is a quote-unquote correct way to use AI. From a teacher's perspective, AI is being used to take away the actual process of learning that students might deem challenging enough to need AI for or unimportant enough to not have to do the work on their own. The danger of general generative AI is not the technology itself. The danger is that we, and especially the leaders of AI industry, have already taken thinking to be the sort of intelligence that can be generatively stockpiled as AIs. Do you use AI?
Yes. Yeah. I really want to say I make it. No, but it's fine.
I have found that when students are using ChatGPT to produce something, or any sort of generative AI, they're not applying a critical thinking lens to what was just produced. And they just assume, oh, this is AI produced this is high level work. And I have seen absolute garbage produced by AI. Often that's how I detect that students are using AI, because it hallucinates, or it's a piece of writing that's completely devoid of voice, or there's some other kind of quality that's lacking. And so again, it's sort of this loop of non-critical thinking when you're using, and I see adults do it too. It's not just students who are guilty of this. It's like, oh, this incredibly complicated algorithm or series of algorithms, I don't know how it works, but, has put this together, therefore this must be, high-level A-quality work, and it's not.
The main focus of AI research is usually on modeling certain aspects of human rationality, rather than on the full spread of human cognition, much less mental and related activities such as emotions.
I think that AI could be very useful as a tool in the education system when it comes to learning between grammar and also artistic input. I feel like it could be very useful for these things, but the issue is when people try to use this tool and start making it replace what people can do, because then we get recycled material that's recycled over and over and over again, and we get nowhere new. And new ideas are something that do come from humans very naturally, whether they're good or bad ideas.
But hopefully with Grammarly and stuff, it can help. My boyfriend is not fluent in English, so that really helps him in his Dianza English reports and stuff. So I feel like those the adjustments can be nice.
So one example that comes to mind is Grammarly, right? Grammarly has a very basic function, which is just, checking your spelling, maybe checking your punctuation, maybe your word choice. But the premium version can really alter entire paragraphs. And I think that's where things kind of cross the line, and the AI is actually, recreating or redoing the work for the student instead of acting as an assistant.
What does support look like? Is it, kind of back to Sean's point, is support actually the generation of work that isn't produced by the student? That I have a problem with. And as teachers, we can only, we can only control so much. We only know what we know. And, I don't think either of us are naive. We know students get support in ways that they probably shouldn't get support.
Well, if I'm thinking about AI more broadly beyond just the context of use in school, I think we're kind of tapping into the unknown. I don't think we really know what its full use and capabilities are going to be 2, 3, 4, 10 years down the line. So I would say I have mixed feelings about it. I can definitely see where AI can be great in kind of pushing us forward as a society, reducing some tasks or eliminating tasks or automating some tasks.
The article 32 Essential AI Statistics You Need to Know in 2024 shares similar sentiments with Dina and Sean, discussing how AI will continue to steadily increase as more businesses start to realize AI benefits and technology because it is much more accessible.
So we've heard from both students and teachers about how they feel about AI. We've heard the opinions of skeptics, optimists, and everything in between. But no one can deny that the release of generative AI services like ChatGPT has changed education and the job space forever. Given the already widespread impact of these services, I think it is time to answer the question everyone has on their minds. What next?
This is something that I think we kind of saw again about 10 years ago with the rise of online classes and online teaching and the potential threat that posed for in-person learning. And I guess my answer is the same as it was 10 years ago, and that is I don't think learning online, learning through a computer can replace what's really happening when people are meeting in person in a classroom with a live teacher.
To Sean's point, again, nothing replicates the relational aspect of teaching, which I think is so critical to learning. Like, the data shows us that students learn better when they're in supportive learning communities, when they are being taught by an adult that they trust and feel connected to, when they're learning alongside peers that they trust and feel connected to. That's part of why we love middle college, because that's what this program is really about. I don't see AI being able to replicate that, no matter how advanced it becomes.
A question that sparks in my mind is, what can we do to responsibly develop AI to maintain quality in these fields and others too?
Yuval Noah Harari, author of the book 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, raises the question: in the modern world, art is usually associated with human emotions. What might happen once external algorithms are able to understand and manipulate human emotions better than Shakespeare? This is a terrifying thought. not just because AI would be able to manipulate human emotions, but it would be a threat to many artists' livelihood. Being an artist is not the most secure job, simply because it is hard to be successful in the field, but at least there was never a concern about technology replacing and outdoing humans in this field. Until now. Some of you might be thinking, there's no way this could happen, this is all just scaremongering or fantasy. To those, I say open your eyes. Let's take a look at Hollywood for the early signs of AI threatening artists' jobs.
I mean, AI generated art I think is stupid. It's not very creative.
I think that some of it can be really
could give
pretty,
you
honestly. Like, I don't think some of it looks like complete dog. But the issue is when like people use it and like they start calling themselves an artist and acting like they put in the same and they act like they put the same amount of effort in when they just paid like a couple dollars to just have a generated. And most of the stuff that they do take is like other artists' work without consent, and that's the biggest issue I have with it, is that it's just very unconsensual towards the artists that they take from.
Some say they're anxious about AI replacing their jobs and wonder if it's an end of a golden age.
After 148 days of strike, SAG-AFTRA, a labor union representing around 160,000 media professionals worldwide, finally reached an agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. One of the biggest issues that the actors were striking against was the use of AI to replace actors and writers.
The agreement, according to the Center of Democracy and Technology, contained detailed provisions of governing the creation of and use of both digital replicas of individual performers and entirely AI-generated synthetic performers.
There's like a filter you can put on your stuff now where it will disrupt any AI from being able to tell which is what from on the image, and it's really cool looking. Like, it just adds a lot to the drawing I'm doing in general.
By 2025, it is estimated that there will be 100 million AI jobs globally. The concern here is that those 100 million jobs will be displacing real people that can't compete with such high-end technology. Aside from the obvious sectors of repetitive, low-skilled jobs, it is also predicted to affect legal services, finance, and banking.
I am Ted Nong. I am the CS major at De Anza College. I've heard some general consensus that AI might be taking over jobs or things like that, but the truth is I just believe AI is just replacing the repetitive tasks that we don't necessarily have to do. It's just like, the things that have happened in history, for example, farming, or things like we have created machines that automate things, and it didn't necessarily take away all our jobs or anything like that. So I just believe that AI could be a tool to benefit and make things more efficient, as long as they are used with goodwill, of course.
An article by University of San Diego mentions that automation can handle document review, legal research, and other preparatory tasks, allowing legal professionals to focus on more complex issues. This shows how threatening AI can be to lawyers in different departments. This further represents a representation for how advanced AI can get. By being able to handle data analysis and document review, even having the ability to do legal research. This may be a great thing because then the legal professionals can shift their focus on more important tasks that need urgent attention, but also a bad thing for those who are specialized in this field of reading documents.
I mean, you kind of covered this, but what do you think? How will it impact the future?
The AI, the changes to AI is currently happening right now. And if I have to give an estimate, it will be really soon that AI could start taking over repetitive jobs, because we have seen how much AI has advanced over just this past year. Last year the generative AI was really laughable, but now OpenAI Sora model is just like blowing people's mind away.
Right.
So the advancements in AI is just gonna be exponential at that point, and I believe we don't have long before all these jobs will be, really can just be done by AI essentially. And this also goes to the same point that Ryan brought up with creative works. And we do have to find new kind of ways to preserve the creativity in humans. Just because this has, I don't think we have seen issues like this in history before. Like, we have never seen aspects where a human's creativity is at risk due to something that we have invented. So this is going to be a really careful territory that we'll have to tread with.
We've heard the next wave of workers share their thoughts on AI's potential impact on the job market. So what now? Is this the beginning of the end of jobs and learning? Not necessarily. We talked earlier about AI affecting artists and media in general. If you've been on social media at all over the past year, it is highly likely that you've seen at least one picture, video, or audio that is AI generated. Think deepfakes of Kanye West singing an Ice Spice song.
Still, you don't do what I say, do what I swear I be stuck in my ways. Stuck in my spirit, you don't do what I say, do what I swear I be stuck in my ways. You thought I was feeling you?
But why is the actor strike such a significant piece of the AI story? Because it shows that we have some control over the expansion of artificial intelligence. With the current state of AI, it is very likely that AI could take over lower skilled jobs. As it advances, there will likely be bigger consequences for larger groups of people in different sectors, even those that we think are untouchable. But the precedent that the actor strike has set is huge. There are ways to regulate AI, or at the very least, ways to set rules that keep AI helpful instead of harmful. As for now, it is up to us as students and citizens of the world to set our own rules inside the classroom and in the future workforce. At the end of the day, AI is a tool, and both negatives and positives solely come out of how we use it. If the future includes AI taking over humanity, it is important to remember that it starts here, with us.